Welcome to the Degeneration podcast. We're just going to jump right into it. We're going to skip part of the intro. I got Wendy with me, and she's got something to get off her chest, I guess.
So I wrote a poem.
You wrote a poem?
I wrote a poem.
Okay.
Do not smash my favorite breadboard into the floor. Do not chase me when I run out the door. When I look into the sky above, the pain is down like the soft wings of a dove. Yet your words hurt harder than the sharpest axe. I must run now. That's it. Thank you.
Take me inside that. What headspace was that coming from?
Long ago, remember I told you about Brian, that dickhead?
Yeah, asshole Brian.
Yeah, asshole Brian. Asshole Brian has a dark side. He has a dark side that comes out when, I guess I want to call it manipulation, and I'm sure a psychiatrist or a psychologist would have a different term for it.
Yeah.
Passive aggressiveness, possibly.
Passive aggressiveness is something that a lot of people do that it's not as harmful as. It's more
as real physical.
Yeah, passive. I think you're. Are you talking about negging or passive aggressiveness? Because it's different.
Full on aggressive.
Yeah,
that.
Passive aggressive. People won't just describe it as dangerous. Usually, it's more like death by 1,000 pinpricks.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
No, yeah, you're right. This is not it.
Yeah, don't diminish whatever this person has done or does do to people by calling it passive aggressive.
We're going to get back to that because that's part of the sickness.
Yeah.
After all of that, after actually grabbing something, throwing it, breaking it in just pure rage.
At you or threw it at the ground?
It was at the ground.
The fear is real when a man does something like that.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that from throwing not throwing, but like knocking a pile of envelopes off a stool and the stool fell over. And then I saw their reaction and it was like, oh shit, I think I shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And so right then I understood the reaction, and it doesn't really matter what the action is, that it's the perception of what could come following that is the problem. And that you have to, as a man or a woman, and if the roles are reversed, you have to try not to do things like that because it creates a perception that the person could be in danger. But go ahead, continue.
Yes, I agree with you actually, because at that time there was real danger there, and hence fleeing from the building.
Yeah. So
even though you're up on the third floor of an apartment building, you still go down the stairs because it's so much faster than waiting for the elevator. You're fleeing.
Oh, because you're worried about them coming out of the place and
exactly, and then they actually do follow you.
Yeah.
And so there's more hurtful words coming. Thank goodness, there wasn't anything in his hand at that time, but
they don't want to be exposed. So when you leave in that situation, you're potentially exposing them because it's an emotional situation. And so I guess they are trying to manipulate you, but manipulate your response by trying to get you back. Oh, it's okay. And they don't get to determine if it's okay. You get to determine that.
Right. No, that whole poem, it was, I don't know, you know how the tapes play in your head over and over again. I mean, you relive parts of your life, whether it's for good
unfortunately,
or bad,
it's usually not the best parts, or if it is, it's like thinking that you're going to get back to that. Really, it doesn't work that way. It's like you get different best parts that'll come at certain points, but not the same thing. So it's just a memory. But
I don't
Yeah.
I don't always have control about when those tapes
No,
play.
nobody has control of it. It's just the only thing you can control is whether or not you choose to make a big deal out of it. Your reaction to it. It's harder when it's a dream and you're stuck sleeping for a while, but you can still work with it. Go ahead.
Right.
Excuse
Anyway,
me.
that tape played this morning, and it played at about, I don't know, 20 minutes to 4, and it's like, awake. Tape,
Oh, so you had a dream?
tape. Well, all of a sudden it's like a bolting, like wide awake, and this is right. It's really weird because it happens at the same time, and that's right around the time when Brian used to come home from working the evening shift. So it's like you're already waking up and on defense. I don't know if it's a form of PTSD or why my brain would still be following that same time pattern.
Does it happen often?
It was just weird. 2 or 3 times a year. It's not like frequent enough to disturb my everyday life, but it's still there.
One of those things that like you totally forget about and it happens and it brings you right back there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah, that makes more sense than doing because if it was like really frequent, it's something to have to talk with a professional about. But when it's like if it's once in a blue moon, you can acknowledge that okay, this memory is still with me, and that's because that's how memories work. Painful ones seem to be more prominent and trick us into thinking our life has been more shit than good. But I mean, sometimes people's lives are more shit than good, and sometimes they're more good than shit. But I feel like you've had a balance, and I've had a balance.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, balance. Very good, very good.
Balance is good.
Balance is good, but you had the tape was playing.
Yeah, the tape plays. You were asking how frequent it happens. It played frequently, like almost to the point of, like you said, time to talk to a professional for the first year after it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt guilty after all that happened. I felt like it was my fault.
Yeah.
I felt alone. I felt like it was isolation after that.
After the relationship was over or after the event?
After the event was over. So the relationship continued for another 3 weeks until he finally dumped me for another girl. And that's that cheating thing that I was thinking about.
Oh.
Remember the cheating thing that we talked about earlier?
Right. But that, I mean, in that case, it was a blessing, though.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't feel like it. It probably feels like a double whammy, I imagine. But, I mean, you don't want someone that's, like, emotionally unstable in an unsafe feeling way. Okay? Like, emotionally unstable is going to happen with people. It's hard to really control it because it can like happen to someone at any time because we are very fragile as human beings. Someone could go through an event and suddenly not be the same person or not act the same way. And so it's unfair to be like, don't just stay away from anyone that's emotionally unstable because who was that person before they became that way? Maybe they'll get back to that. So I mean, it's not really fair to people like myself who have some problems with stability emotionally. Unless stable numbness counts, and then we're good. But what I meant to say is that you have to be wary of these situations going forward, and you were because you didn't end up with someone like this, right? I mean,
right.
You managed to get out, and you might not have been out as soon if not for the cheating. And in this case, it was a blessing, which is weird to say.
It is weird to say.
Yeah.
It's even weirder to hear it, but it makes sense though.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Yeah, no, it's okay. I mean, and you're all in another way. You're weirdly fortunate that the event was one of there was a target that was not you and your person. Like something was thrown, but it was towards the ground, right?
Correct.
But it spooked you enough to make you see that this was not the right person and you were not as safe as you thought you were in this relationship.
Right.
And I'm sure it was like the culmination of other things that someone doesn't just like, you know what? Fuck this what was a headboard, you said? Or a cutting board?
A breadboard.
A breadboard?
Like a cutting board, yeah.
Fuck this cutting board, and like, fuck you, like, out of the blue. That doesn't really happen.
No.
Because even if the action is out of the blue, the emotion is not out of the blue. It's suppressed.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was being suppressed all along.
Yeah.
Well, whether it's against me or not, or I was the target or not, you know what?
Yeah.
I never did
Toxic masculinity.
Well, that's deep, yo.
Or so they say. They lump everything into that type of subject. God damn, there's some good juice, by the way. Sidebar, really good juice. Yeah.
What kind of juice do you have tonight?
I think it's ocean spray, cranberry something, cranberry grape. Good
nice.
Shit. Anyways, yeah, it's bad when guys or women just kind of go off like that and throw things, because I mean you see that in old movies and stuff, and it in a way it normalized behavior that shouldn't be normalized. Like I mean, tell me, did I do something wrong by throwing envelopes around intentionally in the opposite direction of her? Like, I didn't think so at the time, but yeah, I did.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things that separates us humans from animals, is that even though that animal part of us comes out, we learn from that, we grow from that, and then we know that behavior's not right. I can change that. I have the power to change myself.
Yeah.
I like that.
You do have the power to change yourself. Like, I mean, theoretically, you could do that in your current relationship. It's like flip out and throw something at the wall, and that person could be scared, even though he's a man. He's capable of being scared, or has the right to be scared, and he has the right to react. So what we have to do is, as people in relationships of any kind, is to not work yourself up to being in a position to explode about something. And the path to doing that is when you are displeased with something, that you voice that displeasure along the way, and the steps along the way, because it doesn't go from 0 to 100. You know, your anger at somebody that you take out on an inanimate object because you aren't going to hit the person, or you don't want to hit the person, but you do want to throw the envelopes at the wall or throw the cutting board on the floor, and it scares the person. You're sensitive, that's good. You should be sensitive and aware that's not good behavior. And the girl that I was with at the time was sensitive, and that's good. She was a great person, and I immediately felt like, oh shit, I did something wrong. Because I guess I did. But, I mean, I hadn't given her any pause prior to that for anything of that nature. So I'm wondering if in your case, if it was completely out of the blue, or he'd been not violent, but demonstrative before.
I think the latter. Yeah, I have another opinion now that I'm to come up with a different kind of euphemism, that people have like an anger cup. It's inside of us, and there's things that happen that don't put anything in the cup, but there are things that do, and then drip, 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 or trickle, trickle, trickle. And like you say, the healthy thing to do is to voice those displeasures right away.
Take the cup and pour it out little by little.
Yep. Instead of having that cup overflow and like putting that cup in the microwave and having it blow up.
Yeah, you're displacing your anger onto someone else. I mean, again, and look how much distress it gave you, and he didn't even, in that situation, didn't strike you, or did he curse at you?
Yes.
Okay, so he cursed. So he added verbal abuse to it. Okay, that's double bad.
Then it built up. Then it was already verbal abuse, and then it was cursing, yelling, volume increasing, and then cutting board on the floor, breadboard on the floor.
Oh, no bueno.
It just kept going.
I mean, no, not good at all. I didn't mean to say no bueno. Sometimes you just have uncomfortable reactions to your friends being in distress.
Spanish anyway, so.
Oh, that's okay. I wish
Yeah.
I spoke it better. So yeah, there was verbal. Did he ever strike you in any way?
Mm, I don't want to say yes because even though there was, it was in the context of the bedroom and it was something that I asked for. So wasn't a negative striking.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, that's complex, but that's definitely not a negative.
Yeah, he's the one that I discovered that I liked getting spanked with.
Oh, yeah. I mean, some decent things can come out of shit piles sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
So was he attracted to me because I liked that, and he knew like subconsciously that that's where he was headed, is somebody that he was going to be acting that way with? I don't know. That's a deep question.
No, I think I think you're assigning depth to him that he doesn't have.
So is that more of? See, I hate the term victim because I don't feel like one. I felt like I was able to come out of that up on top. So,
Yeah.
like you said,
No, I think if you're thinking about his perspective, like you're assigning depth to somebody that they don't deserve, they don't possess, they didn't possess in the moment. So why are you giving it to them later? Retroactive depth isn't a real thing.
it sounds real. That's a good term, but if it's not real, then it isn't real.
It's not real. I'm just a writer. I can come up with terms, I guess, and it doesn't mean it's any. It's all fluff. It's all bullshit.
But even if the bullshit is there, just if it gets the right result, like making you feel better, then is it? I don't think it's pointless.
Oh, you mean if you saying that like he had some depth and that makes you feel better that you weren't with someone that was just a shitty person?
I was actually just referring to you being a writer.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, sorry.
No worries.
Yeah, like he's a shitty person. He might have turned into a better person over time, but all that matters to you in this situation is he was a shitty person to you at the time, and therefore you deserve better than that, and you've got better than that. But he still bothers you once in a while.
I hope that by writing the poem, I hope that by going through this less and less, but yet still acknowledging that it did happen, I'm able to heal from it.
I hope so.
I know not all wounds heal at the same rate.
No,
but
sometimes wounds, when you go on, heal slower than they used to.
Exactly.
It's like you wake up out of bed and you're like sore, and you're like, "Why the fuck am I sore sleeping?" It's just you get this emotional soreness just kind of stays with you until it doesn't anymore, and then some other new soreness will come take its place. We're always gonna be sore. It's okay.
Right.
Fine. It's fine. It's not great. It's not the worst. It's not good. It's fine.
Not the best, but it's not the worst.
Yeah, not the best, not the worst
so
episode.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is also going to help me a lot to put this to bed forever.
Yeah.
Talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be able to play it back. I mean, you'll be the only one playing it back.
That's okay.
We're like, they turn off our new audience in Kenya, because we talked about your realness, and they're like uncomfortable with it. Fuck them. Now I want people to listen, but I also want them to understand that you are an awesome person, and this is part of.
And you as well.
Thank you, Wendy. Part of being an awesome person is having layers, and this is a layer that was a layer of hurt that you're addressing, because you talked to me last night or this morning or one of them. They're just all running together in this COVID age, but you were like, I have something I want to like talk about. I was like, absolutely. You got the floor. The floor is still yours.
Well, the floor looks a lot cleaner towards the end of this discussion. So
yeah,
I'm very happy about that. I'm actually really, really happy. It's like even that sharpened axe in my poem.
That was the best part.
Duller and duller, and it's rusting away.
Nice.
So.
The best part was definitely the axe, the sharpened axe. I was like, dang.
Yeah, I just thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. People don't realize the power they have. I think once you realize the power you have, then that becomes not just a right to wield that power, but it becomes a responsibility to use it correctly.
Like Spider-Man.
You want yourself to grow as a human. Yes.
Spider-Man.
You have to let it.
With great power comes great responsibility. That's Spider-Man. That was Uncle Ben. Good quote. I should let the audience know that Wendy is awash in darkness right now, physically. She wanted to have the lights off and not in her face while she's emoting, and I think that's really cool. Like symbolic, you're talking from out of the darkness and coming back into the light when it's over. And well, it's over. Good night.